CLG versus Jin Air, Game 2. Here we go.
Gragas third ban, or are they gonna go with the Kindred? I honestly would have banned Gragas. Like, I don't.
So we have Lissandra ban, Tom Kench ban,
Banning the Elise is fine. Banning the Tom Kench is
Lulu,
good, but
Elise.
I think third ban, I would still rather ban Gragas. I don't think Smithy plays the other champions as well, and he didn't really do much in the early.
I like the
game.
Lissandra ban
He couldn't
because she
get
has roam
damage,
priority
so
a lot of the
it's hard to
times, and she
do
spikes
damage
really
like
well
that.
early and mid.
I think it's fair. The big ban that I'm seeing is the Lissandra. There's really no one who engages quite like Lissandra.
I think they're banning Lulu in this case just so they can maybe try to get Gragas for Xmithy. It's a pretty big pick. Tom Kench ban, Elise ban, standard, Riven ban. It was annoying for them to face. They're eliminating the composition that Jin Air ran, so I'm curious what Jin Air is going to run next.
CLG should be scared of that last composition because, as Saint said, it's one or two mistakes that really let CLG win the game. And
that's true. It does keep Hui away from the Blanc.
If they get behind again in the mid game, you know for sure Jin Air aren't going to give.
Is that a no ban?
Like they did in game 1.
Yep, sounds about right.
On top of that, a lot of people say he's a Riven one trick, so I'm
Kindred's up, but Xmithy doesn't play Kindred.
I mean,
Oh, does he? No.
So the ban
He plays
left
Kindred,
open,
Xmithy?
going ahead, getting through, and CLG's just gonna pick that up. The
His
Gragas
Echo
is
wasn't too
good.
bad when it first came out. I wonder how his Kindred is.
Is Jin Air going to start getting rid of the rest of the junglers?
If they go Alistar, that gives them the option to headbutt Kindred out of ults. And they take Rise for hyper carry, and he's still good in early, as we
I
know.
like taking away the Alistar though. I thought Afram had some really cool
But
plays this
Xmithy has to be
game
more
over and over again
proactive
in that last game.
with Kindred.
They're assuming that the Kindred is going to the jungle, so they have the free time
This is
to
going to be
just
interesting. If they go
that
Gragas
game
along with
and
Alistar, they're going to have
Gragas,
so much
as we've
displacement for
seen, is
Kindred ult.
pretty important coming in to knock people out of the Lamp's respite overall. And but it looks like
And it gives them more disengage as well. Callista Gragas.
Oh,
Oh, what?
Kindred.
It is
Yeah,
mid
I think it's
Kindred.
top Gragas or something, soloing Gragas. Or
that's
support.
true.
Oh, actually
Support
support
Gragas is a thing.
This is the thing. Is that we're just,
That's
this is just
true.
anarchy picks and bans now because now we're just.
This is very weird now.
That's true.
Yeah,
No, actually,
So you
I
have
think
Kindred
it's
who's
support Gragas.
early.
It's actually
You
really
have
good
Callista
against
who's
Alistar
early.
because you
They're
can
both
eat a
very
headbutt
similar in
combo,
this
and
sense.
The belly's so fat that it'll actually stop. I mean, you'll both like stun each other, but
yeah.
you can use it as a way to like.
Kindred has
You can
good
get it away from
sustain.
AD carry.
And then like if you Callista ulti and throw Gragas.
She can
into it,
wreck
you can get some
Rise.
I'm just gonna say like when I put on some weight and my
Between
friends
levels
like,
2 and
"Hey,
3?
get in shape," I'd be like, "No,
But
I
when
need
Rise
to
starts
build
powering
some
up, she's gonna get
muscle."
shit on.
No, I just gotta get in there.
Hey, his belly used to be bigger.
If they take
remember?
Lee, that's another displacement.
But that's a pretty surprising choice.
This is
from
very
CLG,
weird.
just trying to lock down all of those forces on their end. Meanwhile, Jin Air.
Do they really wanna go Ashe?
At least that means that Ashe is on our side this time around.
I'd figure you just go Tristana, like you mentioned. Because Tristana's, first off, it's good into Callista.
They have two champions that have displacement as well, so that's just gonna help out a lot with kicking people out of the Kindred.
We'll see.
I like that pick too, and I think Lee Sin
I would
is
prefer
definitely
Tristana.
the best jungle pick into Kindred specifically because of that. You can pretty much burst her, and then when she ultimates,
Plus your
you
range
her
would
out
also be
and just finish her off.
much better than Callista
So overall,
and
also sound,
Kindred.
It sounds like that they simply just ran out of time. They couldn't decide what to ban on the side of Jin Air, and it just went over. So that's why they missed that ban. It's not because of any penalty or anything like that, just in case people were wondering. So that did give CLG this option, right, of picking up Kindred, Callista, and Gragas.
Well, we're gonna have to see how that counts against them because letting Gragas through is a pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, sure, maybe he's more utility based, but
I'm not sure what Aframu could do if that
you have to think of the sense that
but if
Tristana
that
would
can
be better.
Save his hands wherever these picks end up going. That's a lethal Gragas. It's already been proven
Yes.
to be a
But we'll
crucial
see.
pick for
The
TSM.
Bard.
Oh,
Oh my god, this is the weirdest team I've ever seen.
Support Gragas.
What if it is and it's a mid bar?
Yeah,
Is there any?
This is the weirdest team I've ever seen.
There's still hope, okay?
Okay.
It's also just great because as they
Wow.
were mentioning on the commentary desk, for one, it's Jin Air Gain Wings' other support players.
So,
who was
we have
really
Bard,
famous for his
who
Bard,
can
but in
basically
Korea,
delay
who
the
did
backline,
get Bard
Rise and Ashe.
was Jay.
We have
Yeah,
Fizz for
his
quick,
teammate, and then Jin Air just
quick
became the team that
kills.
was known
But
for
it's a
their
top
Bard. So
Fizz.
Afroman now saying,
Maybe?
You know what? These days, a lot of other people have caught up. They pick up the bar. I mean, let's be honest. These picks for CLG do seem a little bit crazy, just overall combination-wise.
I don't know what's going on.
Because
Okay.
this composition, I don't even know where half these picks are going.
It's
so I'm just gonna
counter
stay
logic.
away.
It's just
It
in
truly
there.
is.
I have no idea
We
what's
don't
going on
take
here.
Unicorns of love. Now we are unicorns of love. Like,
Why would they pick Kassadin?
and
You think Zion's gonna play like a top
Thank
laner
you.
or something?
I think it's more likely to be something mid-phase
Yeah, that's
than
what
a-
I
Thank
was
God they're
thinking.
not going Kassadin.
We were
Okay,
joking around,
LeBlanc,
but
so we have
Kassadin does
LeBlanc
seem
for
the
early
most probable.
game.
mid Kindred has a lot of coverage.
She's
to
gonna-
get to the jungle camps that much easier.
It's mid
They're
Kindred,
gonna
right?
mess with us, I guarantee
And
you.
top
Yeah,
Fizz.
Let's talk about
Or-
Junior Green Wings then, because that seems pretty
What?
straightforward. That LeBlanc was the last pick instead of Cassidy.
So I like the Ashe as a reliable hard engage option. I think that's something that they used very well in the previous game.
Okay,
More
so
aggressive champion in the mid lane may give Kuzan an
we have
opportunity
Fizz
to
into
show off
LeBlanc.
there.
LeBlanc
And
can
Rise
wreck
is
Fizz if
overall
played
just an incredibly
properly.
powerful pick on the
But if
path.
Fizz
We've seen
snowballs,
how
then
the
that's
generator can get
it's
wind
gonna
of the
suck.
jungle and is able to chain
Okay, never
swing
mind. Okay, good,
and
good,
able to
good, good,
lock down
good,
those
good.
picks.
Fizz
But
top. They're
the
just
biggest issue is
screwing
while
with me
they have a
here.
team comp that they know how to execute,
LeBlanc
they're going against a
into
team that
Kindred
they've
is-
never seen before that no one
LeBlanc
has
should
ever seen
fuck
before. So
Kindred.
how this team composition is going to play out is
She should be
very
able to just
question.
all in
All
Kindred.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to jump into game number 2. Don't forget
If she
to
waits
download
too
the Score
long,
Esports
as
app
you would
as
guess,
follow
if she
along to
does like
find
a
out more
trade and then
details
doesn't
about
do anything
player
afterwards,
stats and
Kindred would
player
just,
interviews
sustain
throughout
back.
this weekend here at the Intox
Fizz into
Castles. But for
Rise
now, with
is
some
actually
crazy
good for
picks
Fizz
from
early
CLG,
on.
can they close it out
It's
2-0?
not
Let's
Gragas
find
mid.
out with Taylor Monte Cristo
That'd be
and
so
Fernando.
funny if it was. You have Xsmithy's best champion. If we look at initiation, their initiation is horrible.
And the Jin Air Green Wing CLG just barely pulled it out in game
Actually,
number
their
one.
initiation
Now
would
Jin
consist
Air
of
comes
Bard
back
ult,
with this
though.
insane composition. I don't even know if I can really ask this, but what do you expect to
I'm
see
trying to think of how they play
in
this
game
comp
two?
out.
I mean, just
Like, it's
judging
all
on
early
I
game.
like the interaction between Bard and low mobility carries like Rise and Ashe.
Okay.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, Bard ult
against,
for
Kindred and
initiation, but
Snowball,
it's just-
nobody really knows where she was going. She
It's
has
not
the
entirely
she's
reliable.
super snowball.
Like,
If she gets
they
beat
have
up,
Gragas
she's
who could
done,
E in,
you
but again,
can't
that's also
snowball
not reliable.
with
Basically, they have no
full
reliable
gank.
initiation.
It's actually quite potent, but either way, that
Whereas
matchup is gonna swing super
Jin Air
hard.
has a lot more
Yeah,
reliable
and
initiation.
We saw even Jinair playing around with some of these flex picks, taking that Rise, looking like he was going in the mid lane. But Kuzan's played LeBlanc before. He did roam very heavily on the LeBlanc game that he's played in Champions so far. And this is a composition that Jinair can really
It's not as
make a lot of
abusive,
picks
though.
with. Look how much single target crowd control they have. Setting up with an Ashe arrow.
I don't
to
think
Rise
Rise
is
into
going to be
Fizz is
very
as abusive
effective.
as it used to be,
CLG,
though.
However, they're really reliant on Xmethy's ults, which is good. Because Xmethy's
If it was
really
old
good at
Rise,
that
you could
route
just
itself. He's been
queue
able to
through the
isolate targets, but they're gonna
just
have to
queue him
rely on
because
that.
you know you
And
could actually
CLG,
target
they gotta
the
survive
champion.
the early game because
The Fizz can
a
just
couple
sit in the
years
minion
at a
line,
time,
it's
you'll
not
be
as
playing
bad.
on no wave clear.
Obviously,
Yeah, zero wave.
Rise
If you're
will
a fan of wave
shit
clear,
on
you
Fizz
should
later.
close your stream right now, 'cause either team, there's
That
some
one guy just did it out there. He's like, I love wave clear. Oh,
done. Yeah,
Well, Alistar was up, but
it
was taken first rotation by Jin Air.
But for me, this game will boil down to the
Yeah,
jungle.
it's not as bad as
Both Wing
anymore.
and Xmithy have so much responsibility because any of these matchups tilt either way. Like you have Rise into Fizz, whoever gets ahead can really dominate that matchup. If you have LeBlanc into Kindred, whoever gets ahead can really dominate that matchup. So and that only happens with the help of the junglers.
Yeah, it seems like a lot is going to depend on Pilot's Ashe arrows as well, too. I mean, we saw...
If we're looking at
Sexay do okay,
Jin Air's
but I feel like
composition, they have what?
Pilot
Ashe for
might
initiation,
be a little
Alistar
bit
for
more
initiation,
skilled
Lee
with the
Sin
Ashe
for
arrows.
follow-up
We did see them
initiation,
use the Ashe pick in the Kespa Cup as
LeBlanc for snowballing.
Aerodynamics coming in there.
Aerodynamics, that's right.
Pilot.
You got it, man. Well, I
Who's
think
their
it's
top laner?
about time
Rise.
to
Wait.
move on to Summoner's Rift
Yeah,
Rise
Rise.
for game number 2 between CLG
So you have
and
scaling with
Jin Air
Rise,
Green Wing. CLG
some
with a
scaling
chance to
with
2-0
Ashe.
Jin Air. I think we're gonna
Your
see
main
this one
focus
go
is
to
gonna be
game 3. That's
LeBlanc
still my official
and
prediction,
top.
but we will find out as we go out onto the map.
Yeah, I assume Winged is just gonna look towards top and mid, whereas
Well, regardless for
Xmithy can
CLG,
look
I mean, coming into
anywhere.
this with,
He can look
you know,
top,
all
mid,
the-
or
the
bot.
drama around losing double lift,
Preferably looking top to
Sexay
snowball.
looks
Uh,
flawed,
Darshan against
but
the
they've
Rise
been
matchup, of
playing
course.
around him quite well, and he did hit some of those arrows that really
The
mattered in
bot
last
lane
game to
matchup
stop-
would be
to
also
stall
nice to
it out
snowball and
even
is very
further.
doable because
And
you
they've
have
shown
Bard
that
and
their
Callista.
macro play is still pretty good, and Solan is in a tough situation.
Oh, why did he flash though?
See what they were trying to do there was force the Rise to move to this choke point that CLG's right there. After him was in the Baron pit. They wanted to hurt him into that.
I honestly-
and then keep over with the Bard. So
Darshan
he
might want to
took a
just
little while
go
there from CLG.
AP.
Luckily for Solan, he actually chose to path upwards.
You know, I just love this comp by CLG. Not
Well, if
necessarily
we're looking at their
they
actual
may or may
composition,
not
as you
do
can
it,
guess, they
just
have
the
no
simple fact
AP,
that
so it
people
makes
are
sense
questioning
for Zion to go
how
AP.
deep are CLG's champions
But it would
going?
be
You know,
weaker
what
at the
new
same
stuff can
time.
they bring? And it doesn't really get any more random and new than this.
I mean, it does
He could make
surprise
up
me
some of
that
it
they're
with
showing some
Lichbane.
of these picks as they're 1-0 up in the semifinal, because you think that maybe you want to save some of these shenanigans for a best of 5 against Origin should they make it there, but they're certainly not pulling any punches. They're showing us some very fun stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can always mix and match with some of these picks throughout that next best of 5 if they make it too.
Yeah, they're
You would
bringing the
think
soul
that
of the
Jin Air would
experience
want a
to
lane
some
swap,
of these right now. Limited practice, so maybe they just play whatever they're comfortable on. And they
but
try and
CLG does the
turn the
invade
favor of
first to deny it.
Interesting invade here coming in early on.
Interesting.
Wow, getting a lot of damage down with that dance of arrows.
That's actually a pretty good call by CLG to invade to deny the lane swap, or at least make the lane swap riskier to go into.
Completely zoned out of everything.
Going over the red buff immediately too, so just taking advantage of the fact that they did blow that flash from the Rise early on. No
This is a good start for CLG
bones about
already.
playing aggressive from CLG.
I like this. They're dedicating so.
And they're gonna
so much
3-buff,
focus on the map.
possibly.
Not only is Xmithby already in position for early top.
Yeah,
ganks
Hui,
or gank from
as you can
outside,
guess, Hui at level 1 is gonna
I don't
shit
think
on
he could
LeBlanc
actually
before
build
level
top
2.
either, 'cause his jungle has been cleared.
Let's see what he can do. He looks like he's going to be heading around right now. Huhi doing a great job of denying a ton of early
And now that
CS,
that's
and
pushed in,
Wing's gonna head over
yeah,
to the
Wing
enemy red
does
buff.
not have
So
the pressure
being
to
used by
just straight up
Solon to
invade
get
that.
into that top lane, but that means it's still going to be up for Darshan.
I mean, with lane control and teleport still up, if Darshan can push in the Rise and they can look for a level 3 dive with the Gragas, that could be.
Hey,
at the game
I know
end, so
Kuzan's not the
no flash.
best, but
Blue buff given over to him though as a result of that jungling, so he is going
Gotta
to have
believe.
some tools to play around within that top side. Does have to be careful. Xmithby takes his blue buff in the meantime, and there is a swarm of sentinels, but not going to see Wing there.
okay, so it looks like Wing gets it and they don't get the 3 buff, which is a little sad, because if I'm CLG,
Taking another big amount of damage, goes back in with the distortion. Whoa, manages to pop the passive. Hui takes
if I'm
the
CLG, I would have warded that entrance to make sure that he can't get away getting a 3 buff, or getting a
Not the
second
best
buff.
trade there for Hui. He took a lot of minion damage in that trade, and now Wing.
It doesn't matter if Hui
Once he
takes
got out of
minion
there,
damage
he's
though,
gonna get over to the minion wave to
because he
avoid
can sustain
Xmithby
better than
coming to the
Kuzan.
rear end. Of course, when they are pushed up in the bottom side, they can't make
So
it
Rise
away
is pushing
after
top,
already on
because
the run from the bottom lane.
Xmithby showed himself.
Speaking of the bottom lane, Afremu heading back down
How's
there.
the bot lane doing?
Again, you can
Looks
harass quite a
even.
bit with Bard, but against a lane like Alistar Ash, you're going to be able to sustain against it too. So it's kind of a moot point as far as the.
Right now we're noticing Soan is pushing top like a madman.
Decided to push the wave. Lee Sin clearly in the bottom side of the map since he had.
It's
no
kinda
contact
weird.
on the top side.
Darshan.
CLG should have probably went for at least some sort of pressure on that Rise.
Yeah,
Before
that's
Solon
actually
comes
really
forward,
weird,
they're
because,
not
okay,
capitalizing on it at all.
as we know, they deep invade to deny a lane swap.
Looks like Winged is
He's
coming
on that
back.
side, so if, let's say they want to forfeit the
Really
3 buff,
spawning him. You know, with the health of
how come they are
Solon
not
on the top
just,
lane, I wondered if there was maybe like a dive
why
on
wouldn't he
Jin
just
Air
target
for Jin Air?
top side
They
after
just
that?
didn't have
After
the
getting all that
resources, I guess,
wards, and he knows that there's not many
it's
wards
still
top
so
side
risky,
for
and
Jin Air.
CLG, you really just don't want them to snowball. You have to be confident in the late game. Jin Air is going to be much better in the late game. I think with the Rise.
I think CLG is perfectly fine without,
Try to chase Soan away. Soan again with no flash, and just like Krepo
yeah, here we go.
trying to take advantage of that ignite use, and they're going to come in and finish him off. There it is, first.
Wow, that was so sloppy.
A trade on each side as
What the hell was that?
But it looks like it might be 2 for Jin Air. Can Darshan escape? Wing chasing. There's the flash. He's got the red buff. Darshan burning, and there's another kill.
What the hell was
for
that?
Jin Air Green
Why
Wave.
did he wait so long to E? He knew he had no
That top lane
flash.
is frozen too. That's the biggest part.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
Jin Air,
best
okay,
play
sorry.
in Solan's favor. Darshan just used
Yeah.
the teleport. That play right there, it was
Jin Air
pretty
should
good.
have
They were
lane
already in position.
swapped.
Wing could
But they
farm
couldn't
level 3
because
or 4, then
CLG
he
set up
could
the
counter
deep
get
invade,
He almost blocked the body
or
slam.
sorry, not
Really
deep
nice
invade,
move there.
early invade to get deep
But not only
wards
that,
to sort of
Rise
deny
actually
it.
ended up with
So
one of
if
those kills, too.
Jin Air does
Ideally,
decide to
though,
lane
in that
swap,
bad
they're put in a
situation,
bad
you'd hope that
situation where they could
maybe
get
Wing would
4v2
get both of
tower
them,
dived.
but it kind of ended up in a bit of a wash. And now Sowan's going to have a big TP.
In other words, it's
about
riskier
30
if they lane
seconds,
swap
and
at
that'll
that
be,
point.
Interesting to see whether they can make a play down on this bottom side after Ash hits 6.
And we'll see. Afremu a little bit low. Jay comes in for the knock up there. The headbutt pulverize combo.
And this was a big question that we had because we
That was a
really
terrible-
haven't seen
that was a
Stay
terrible
Afremu in a 2v2
gank
lane,
top,
and
though.
how are they going to fare?
Like Smithy really should
How
have
is
just eat
Stixay
right
going
away
to
and
do,
gotten the kill.
against maybe some TP plays in the bottom side, and that may be a major
Yeah.
factor in this one.
Well, just straight
Uh,
up too. I mean,
mid lane,
Alistar, no joke.
he's only
Pretty solid
slightly
offense, so
ahead.
definitely a good test
Bot lane's
for
even,
Stixay.
top lane they're losing.
And this new CLG
And this
bot
whole
lane.
composition they have is
And one
surrounded
thing that we
about
haven't
powering
talked
up
about
to
yet
the
is
mid game.
Winged. It's like he is
So
kind to draw some aggression. Cosmic Binding goes down, but CLG's duo not going to bind.
They have to get more work done. And Rise having no flash, like that was a really good chance for them to get a quick one kill and snowball some CS onto Darshan.
A North American team has beaten a Korean team in a best of.
In mid lane, like ganking wise, it's pretty shit because
Exhaust onto Jay. Aftermoon has a flash away. Aftermoon in a lot of trouble. That heal barely keeps him alive.
ooh, he lived. Very well done.
Makes it out with basically no health remaining.
Okay, so he's going top again.
Darshan meanwhile trapped by that rune prison, but the trap is sprung, and so on the flash to try to get away.
He's gone, right? Oh no, he'll E-flash, won't he?
They've got the ward as well. 2x Smithy coming in. There's a slow
Very well done by CLG. That was much better in this case.
Tied up in kills.
The fact that they survived bot lane, giving them free choice to go top lane again, burning Rise Flash again, means that they can target that lane again, and ganking mid is actually shit. Like, ganking mid is terrible against LeBlanc.
And Kuzan kind of been a bit of a non-factor this game, and he's been denied a whole hell of a lot of CS so far by Hui.
There's a reason why people bet. There's a reason why they should have kept banning Gragas. Like, Xmithy's not the best jungler, but he does somehow just magically appear better when he's on Gragas. Like, even his decision making seems better.
There's a passive pop yet again. He takes a bit himself, but not enough.
He's gonna start controlling this mid lane harder now.
Best for Green Wings to avoid this top lane where they're losing. Hang on, arrows coming out. Thinking of Kindred.
Hit.
He nailed him.
He's dead.
Capitalized. That's a lot of damage. Here comes Shay. There's a knock up, and that could nearly be a kill. Who he escaped. He's in the Kindred ult. Can't get out of there.
Oh, Hui.
Down. Kuzan with the kill.
That's actually a pretty good comparison, but I probably wouldn't say he's as bad as I TBQ. I think that's discrediting Hui a little bit, or Hui Xmithy a little bit too much. That's a great pick by Jin Air though. I mean, using the Ash Arrow for the mid lane, something that can't be avoided, and they know they're not going to be killing. They know they're not going to be killing Stixay or Aframu in that lane in the 2v2. It's Bard and Callista. I hope Xmithy targets top lane more though.
Yeah. You definitely don't think of Ash when you think of.
I mean, they should be targeting top lane more.
It's changing our minds.
I mean, Ash was out of the meta for very long too.
Like, Darshan has to snowball the shit out of this game.
She's so different than all the other AD carries. You really need to use that arrow to make a pick, and Jin Air could do that. They have teleport available on so on. So next arrow could be arrow into teleport. Maybe make a play on the bottom. Avoid that really, really tricky situation they have going on in the top lane where Smithy and Darshan are showing that they will have really good synergy right now.
Okay, so Aframu roams top.
A little bit behind in terms of farm too, so that he has been zoned out by Soan, and he didn't actually end up picking up that kill.
They still have a small advantage. Well, actually, the advantage is gone a bit because he got a kill.
Really, truly slowed down the rise yet.
Yeah, that's going to be the real danger.
It's not good. They need to push this quicker.
One of the real dangers anyway, coming in from the Jin Air Green Wings.
Their target. Hello, can they move the camera top lane?
A lot of damage up in top. Doesn't even need the arrow. That rise is long gone.
Well, I have no idea what happened there. They decided to dive there even though Sohan knew he was topside.
He would have been alive, but no, he wouldn't have. That's impossible.
Yeah, really no help. Nice dive there from Darshan. Gets another kill. That's what he needs to start. Really
Wow, that hit?
Great pick from Afram.
Hey, they can dive that. They can make the turret invulnerable with the Bard ultimate and go for the dive. Let's see what actually
Here,
happens here. Just
here we go.
Aframu's coming in. Yeah, easy CC.
Yeah, that's about that for the rise.
Did make that look quite easy. Nice tanking for Afro.
Don't like
there.
Cleaver on.
Yeah, making sure that the Fizz gets out nice.
Oh yeah.
Now in the mid lane.
Wait, why wouldn't he just go
Takes a lot of damage. Nice explosive cast by Xmithy. We saw how good he was on that Gragas yesterday. Proves it again right now.
why wouldn't he just go Bork?
Yeah, just not
On
level 6 yet there for the Alistair, and with the flash just
Bork or
barely
Static
down,
Shiv.
watching
Like, even
Blue
Static
West
Shiv
just
would give him
wandering straight in.
additional
Still
wave
looking at a
clear.
pretty even game in terms of
Though
gold
Bork,
for
of course, would
CLG.
be much better in
Only
general
gonna
because
get
it gives him
kills.
sustain and extra damage.
And that's exactly what they need right now. Just a couple kills here and there. Looks like we're in for another.
Good dives by CLG so far. I have to give it to them. They send Aframu top. Shay does not answer it. Sohan should know he's up there.
Doesn't quite hit him with the temper fade.
He gets dived.
Just Well, definitely dodges that with the speed from the rise.
Just very poor play by
he's
Sohwan there.
to get out of it, so that was
A bit preemptive though. You can actually just walk up a little more and then force him to either.
That's true. He will have to get a Hex Stringer no matter what.
Juke it, so then Darshan can connect the damage. I think there was
Unless he's going to be going on to the...
the concept of the
Unless
play
he wants to
was
say he wants to go like hyper
magical
offensive
J bush that you assume is not warded, and then go full
because of
surprise
his
as
ult.
he's going for a lost hit, but
I mean, that's his other option.
so on.
all right. Huhi did get the mark onto the Scuttle Crab right there, so they're gonna try and take it out, and he is gonna get that. So a little bit more damage there for Huhi. That's a nice pickup. He's actually had a couple Scuttle Crabs, and Jin Air going to react just by going straight for this dragon.
And can they get this dragon? Doesn't look like.
Yeah, they have
Sohwan
the
is really
dragon.
Organized enough to put up a defense, so Jin Air will be getting the first dragon of the game.
So what are they going to do now?
Sohwan is way out of bounds. No
Like, for instance, is Darshan just going to be able to push this lane and deny some CS?
Technically path over and go for an instant redive.
Looks like
Yeah,
it.
and Darshan has caught up in CS as a result of this play, so sacrificing a bit of
Yeah.
time onto
Not sure I like
Rise
that.
in order to make this work.
Especially when
Grabbed by
you basically want to try to scale as quickly as you can
Don't have any wards there. We'll find Xmithy
versus
lurking around in the river.
trading a dragon and letting the team that needs more time, or needs more gold, to spike quicker. Like, it doesn't really make any sense to me for Jin Air to actually trade that out.
And now this, I mean, Kuzan's been really well contained by Huhi. He's setting up these big
Yeah.
zones with wolves.
Janai Rise came back to
and
tower.
not really
Now,
being able to push out and start roaming.
Yeah, just like you said, Monty,
how do they want to? How does Jin Air want to approach this right now? They definitely do have to look for another pick with Pilot. That's for sure. And CLG is very squishy overall, so they know they have the burst, especially with LeBlanc, to kill anyone. Of course, highest priority is going to be Kindred, because if you stun her, she can't ult.
Indeed. So just a ward clearing going.
He's
on
going
now for
Triforce.
Jin Air. It's like we're just resetting, so we can see maybe a usage.
Triforce,
Darshan's is up, so on.
Kindred.
Still
I mean, it does a lot of
waiting for
damage.
this pilot. This is volley just to clear out the wave. One of their few forms.
It also
of
means
wave
he's
clear.
tankier.
A very
It
low
means he
wave
can
clear
also...
game in general, which means that we've had all of these
He'll have a little bit more
opportunities for
burst,
rounds. When
I
it
could
takes
say.
so
More,
long
better
to push
sustained
out the
burst, that
wave,
is.
You do tend to end up with higher kill games because you have more opportunities to move.
Yeah,
around.
and Darshan's going full AP.
Well, Pilot and Shay protecting their bottom turret for the moment anyway.
Yeah,
That first dragon has got to feel pretty good for Jin Air at this
more
point.
bursty.
Yeah, they sacrificed a bit of a lead in the top lane to do it, though, so it did have its price.
If you're
but they
ex-Smithy, you
seem
still
they
want to
really
target
wanna
top
play
lane, though.
around
And that's
Dragons.
why
They're hitting
Winged
that
is
front lane,
there.
Trying to creep into the lane for a gank, or at least a counter
Winged
gank
is
here,
yeah,
and so
as Monty's saying,
wants
Winged
to
is
make
looking
sure
for
that
the
he can
counter
get
gank
this
because
lane.
it's such a
He's making
juicy pick
all
with the
the
wave
way
pushing
into
in
the
like
turret.
that.
Yeah, he's just gonna back off after that, but they're not gonna
And now
check
they
for
just
that
pinged,
pick
that's
ward
where
in the lane.
Kindred's Scuttle Crab is, so I assume CLG wants to get that soon.
Looks like that's where Wing wants to go. Meanwhile, Pilot takes the first turret of the game for Jin Air.
That's the price of Aphromoose roaming right there. They did get a lot of tower damage down on the bottom side, and they did zone off Stixay and Aphromoo for a little bit earlier on in this game, so just that chip damage.
1v1, it's incredibly hard for Ashe to, for Kalista to really do anything against an Ashe. Repetitive poke, you keep him at distance. Worst case, you have the arrow to really punish that. Smithy's gonna find that pink ward.
Yeah, Hui's finally
Yes,
looking
yes.
for it now.
Team, though, so they're trying to just to make sure they can push up. So on, actually just going and moving in here, and they're going to try and set up a pick with this Ashe moving into the top.
I'm
side.
surprised they're letting
They can
Hui
get some
just get these
damage done,
free
but
stacks.
Just going to move Ashe straight in and have Rise cover the bottom lane. They want to move their way
It's actually a little
into
weird that
the
they're
lane with
they're
the
not
white turret.
controlling these stacks of Hui.
That's pretty risky.
Well,
Especially when you have LeBlanc and you have higher, you basically have roaming priority on LeBlanc. And it's a little surprising to see
Yeah, he's actually gonna
Jin
take
Air
it.
not target that.
Shay is right there to protect though. TP canceled now for Darshan.
Yeah, 2 TPs actually used.
Yeah,
to
Bard
force
definitely
out
can
the
be
damage.
deadly against
So
those
actually having a flash
immobile
forward to
carries.
avoid the tempered fate.
And then you can set up
Yeah,
with
that's
a nice
exactly
Q
what you're gonna do.
stun.
Tempered Fate, force a flash. Anybody can flash it, but then the cooldown, obviously, you're trading cooldowns. You're trading flash for a tempered fate, and that's definitely not good.
Darshan.
Here looking, spots Winged, is in a 2-for-1. No
There's
backup
no way he
possible.
goes for this, right?
Smithy gonna come up though. He's gonna be coming through the river. They want to punish him for taking this turret. There's
Yep.
the ult.
Oh, ult right on a pile, a little bit of damage to start things off. Darshan though has to run away.
Wow,
Darshan
he
fails.
predicted it too.
Darshan could be in trouble, kicked into the wall. That's
But
more
they have to
damage,
back
but
out.
Here comes Xmithy, and with Huhi on the way,
And he didn't
too,
stop the
Jin Air
turret.
needs to back off.
Pilot has been so on point with his arrow,
Yeah.
predicting that, and now we just see Che getting that knock up.
Oh yeah, Hui can kill LeBlanc.
Wants to get mid lane.
CLG really wants
It's
to
just
take
I
this
don't
turret.
understand why
Looks like
Jin
they'll
Air
have to
didn't
wait a little
focus
bit
mid
longer.
when that's like your best
Jin Air able to
mid
defend
game
it for the
spike
moment.
slash
bold,
early
though, to
game.
go for that play.
And if he snowballs against Hui and he becomes useless, it's horrible.
A bit of miscommunication, thinking that Xmithy was maybe a little bit closer, but he actually ended up.
And the Ash ult was very impressive.
So on now here, so no mid lane, but there's a lot of chip damage on these Jin Air turrets right now. That could result in a pretty fast CLG gold advantage.
Yeah.
Che knew there was a ward there. He has a ping. Still deciding to recall will get canceled.
The big question is right now, dragging up in about a minute.
They have Morels done, they have Bork done,
CLG takes
and they almost have. I assume they have Triforce done by this amount.
Yeah, they're really. This is CLG. They're going to get it this time. They tried so many times last game. Finally succeed relatively early.
Okay, so if mid's down,
kill here, and,
that's gonna
CLG,
hurt
both of these
LeBlanc
games
roaming,
really
which
just
he
been
hasn't
one
even
pressure
done much in the
advantages.
first place, which is
They
bad.
haven't been too likely to skirmish. They just want to group.
Especially when you have
play the
Pilot,
turrets,
or
and
you
that's
have
about it.
Ash,
Play for the
who can
split
just
push. If
Ash
they
arrow
have
in
another
lane.
game, another turret
It sets
right
up a
here.
pretty
So
easy pick.
everything's starting to fall for Jin Air, and they're going to nearly catch up in gold.
Pretty
Just-
impressive.
Just like that, game pretty much evened
So
out.
CLG,
Jin Air
this is
really
the
needs
second
to
time
focus on
we've
the
seen this so
second
many
turret.
times in the first game.
Trying
They'll
to
keep,
react and
they'll
take
push the
down turret
lanes
early
out,
on, but they
they'll rotate
really
mid,
haven't gotten that
take the
much
turret,
damage
and then
because Hui has
spread
been so
back out.
dominant. Now with the Trinity Force, that's a
And then it
really
forces
good
the
defense
enemy
for
team to
Dragon
respond
Flight.
mid. Their waves are not set up the way they want
Kuzan's
to,
still just kinda sitting
and
on a
CLG
row,
gets
dominant
priority
on the
basically
black
on
side. He's
what they
actually
want to do
not going to
afterwards.
do too terribly much damage at this point in time. And
I really
so
like that. I
he's
really
scaling
like that
too with
small
that
amount of
zero
map play that they're
advantage, so
doing
they're gonna
there.
have to give this drag up.
Yeah, they should definitely do it because if CLG is tracking the Soan's flash timer, it is an incredibly easy temper fade to use in that fight, and then you can really put Rise in an uncomfortable situation where you get.
Need to keep watching out for that
Well,
in
they see a
games.
slow push, pings in the top side. Looks
How
like
are they
Jin Air's gonna
utilizing
go
their
for
waves, and then
points
what?
in tier two,
How
so
can
maybe
they
a delay tactic, a
set it
stall
up
tactic
to
here
actually
for Jin
possibly
Air.
look mid
See if they can
to
waste
force the
some of
enemy's
that
hand?
time
That's
that
a really
CLG
nice
is
little play.
spending.
There's he got another stack.
Rewards, too, just to give themselves a
They're
better
really
chance.
prioritizing these
Jin Air
scuttle
should definitely not take this
stacks
fight. This is
well.
the wrong timing for them. Fizz has the Brilliant
Dragon's
Arcana
up.
machine.
If I'm Jin Air, do I want to
Dangerous.
fight this?
You know Jin Air, though. They may
God,
try this
no.
I don't know if I know new Jin Air, though. This is very different than the Jin Air
I
that
think we've got a pretty good idea of new Jin Air at this point.
just go nuts, go ham all the time.
Ooh.
Oh,
That tempered fate is something CLG could
Well,
really
sure, they need-
have used.
I don't like the
Yeah,
distance.
well, sure,
There's a
they need
certain
to win
distance, which is like 1.5
the
space
matchups
where
to
the
actually
fade is almost impossible to dodge,
push
especially if
into
you're
mid
one
that
pick.
early,
I don't
but
think
at
it's-
the same time,
I think it's disrespecting your opponent if you throw it out from that far.
Well, CLG's going to go for this. Kuzan
actually, you don't even need to have winning lane matchups as long as you control the waves correctly.
No, you don't do that fight right now. You're not real. Jin Air, their goal is not to win this game based off of Dragon stacks. Their goal is to win with huge amounts of late game damage and picks.
But it is
And
true
so
that
if you can't
they
find
can
a
do
way
it
to get
as
everybody's
quickly.
already grouped up, don't worry about it. Try and reset for more vision later on.
Yeah,
So
they
you
have
keep
good
using
neutral
that Ash
objective
arrow,
control,
because
that is for
that's what's been
sure.
effective for them.
I mean, the fact is, you got the first dragon, so you don't need to worry about a really fast 5-dragon stack by CLG.
That is definitely for sure. And then
Time to play it safe.
that's probably why it took them so long. I mean, definitely took them so long in the last game to get these mid turrets because just of their actual composition, like Azir, Ash. Like, they can easily get caught out. But they have Tempered Fate and they have Kindred ult for actual invulnerabilities, which is pretty ridiculous.
Insanely dependent on good barrels.
Yep, and they're very prone to just get annihilated by Rise. I mean, if you're playing a Rise and you're playing against 2 carries, or 3 carries, one of which is melee range and the other 2 are sub 500, it's incredibly easy to just punish that and just...
So bot wave's pushed.
I mean, that's a big question.
They can
right
push
now, is that
mid in
CLG
and then
is
rotate
doing
top if they
well,
really
but
want to
are they
right
doing
now.
well enough? You know, are they going to be able to close things out fast enough to avoid that late game from Jin Air?
Looks like they're getting this for
They're
free.
getting a turret, and Darshan is making a bunch of money off of these solo turret kills. And again, he's just been doing work on that split push. He's about 600 gold up on Soan right now, and a lot of that is from just the fact that he's been there pushing down the towers.
You have to question
Jin Air's sitting back,
thematically,
letting them
though.
get
If you're-
map
if you're
control.
CLG and you play a style that
And their
revolves
whole
around
composition's
top
built
4
around
members of
building
your
this
map
map
and least
control.
stay kind of isolated, then you know what use is picking an AD carry.
It
that
opens
scales
up
into a
Bard
late
for
game,
better
but not necessarily
plays.
into a late game. You can make a lot
Opens
of
up
plays
better
with fake
flanks
stall,
with
but they don't
Fizz.
seem to really put Stixie in a position where you can make those plays. Hasn't used a single ultimate.
I don't
in the
know.
game.
I don't know if I like how Jin Air's playing this out at all.
Well, we're just going to be in a period of waiting for a while.
Yep. This is your kind of game. You wanted this.
I wanted
There's
this.
your Hex Stringer too, finally.
Jesus, Rise slowly powering up over time.
Yeah, that's a ton of fun.
IE
The sword of Rise of
doesn't have his stack ship yet.
That's right. So definitely hanging over their head.
He's going
Just gonna join the
decap
board.
on
Just gonna
LeBlanc.
take it right now. And
Okay.
just backing off. They just want to play very defensively for the moment.
It's a very different look
Seems
from
a little-
Janair that we're seeing this game from what we saw in game number 1, and you know, if they can manage.
I guess
to
it's fine.
play for
So it seems a
game,
little
play
greedy
that
to me
late
to go
game
for
well,
such
that
an expensive
says a lot
item.
about their team. After losing a
But I
game
guess they're
like
waiting
this,
so long to actually
play
fight that it's
methodically,
fine.
Play safe and close it out like they're trying to do. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah. Huhi.
Respect from Sohan though. He could have stood at the edge of the brush and went for that play, but he's respecting potential backup. CLG have a lot of fog of war in their advantage. If you look at the vision that CLG has, and more importantly, the vision.
Actually,
now,
Sohan would
we
not
see
have to worry
5
about
big
backup.
wards on the map for CLG right now.
Yeah.
Just because of the way
Really don't know if
of
they're
their
on
wards
one
are
side of the
positioned
map or
around that
not, or
area,
whether
there's
they are moving up through their own jungle. They have everything
he wouldn't be in
from
that
the river
terrible
downward
position, I
under
think.
their control, so you can't
But he
take
is
those
playing
risks.
safer,
The problem is though that's
and they don't want to risk anything anyways because they just want to scale up.
Because Pilot can always move into fog of war of his own. The threat of the arrow in a 1-3-1 just tilts any of these matchups. So CLG kind of scared to push on.
So are they?
Their vision
I assume they're just waiting on spikes right now. They're waiting for
maybe some jungle camps.
Lich Bane.
Pretty much a stalemate.
There's Runons.
Teleport coming in.
Yeah, we'll see if they make
He's
it
so
forward.
far pushed up, and he's getting away with it.
Was that the
And
key?
they have wards. What happened to all the aggressive play by Janair from last game?
What's that swirly thing there on the map? Nope.
Yeah, definitely standing on top
Yeah,
of the
okay.
mark. So it looked like a halo in the
did.
TP coming in.
It did.
But yes.
I just want some action, okay?
You just want some action? Well, this is typical Janair. You don't get action. You get low kills,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say
waiting until the late game while they dance around the map.
this is much more the Janair we're used to
Well-
in Korea, isn't it?
But at the same time,
Oh, Kuzma
Wow.
trapped against the wall, and can they actually finish him off?
He almost died.
But it was
And since he's
close.
chunked, that means they can push that bot turret if they want to, which they should be doing. And then that's gonna open up mid too.
Went for a pick.
We'll sub you in next game. Don't worry.
I just look for the kills, man. I just want to see somebody die, okay?
well, you're not
Janair
gonna
as
see
a
that.
different
But when we talk about Janair the last
scaling
game, they
backline
were
threat.
winning some of those late game team fights are going even when they didn't have Baron buff. And when
But
they
the
had
problem
a
with
little
that
bit
is
more
that's such a
gear,
risky
doing a great job on the
option
tower,
that
though.
if
Moving
they
from
would
the lane,
go
CG
for.
down, just chipping away
If their
at
idea
tier
of
two.
using LeBlanc
Janair may have
is
just
for-
changed their mindset. They said, look at this. We
Okay,
really
obviously we
won
know
that game
th-
at
he's
50
there
minutes, so
for
we kinda
backline
didn't have
threat.
any
We know
business
that.
being close that late, given the fact that they gave up
And I
three
assume
Barons
they're going
straight. They
decap.
did some work with the 5th Dragon stack,
Is
and they had
well,
just a poor composition
they're not
late.
doing
So
anything
let's
anyways,
play
so they're
more
just gonna
relaxed
wait to
this
scale.
time.
So yeah,
Get
they
the
go
Rise
decap,
for
but
ourselves and try and
by
make
doing that,
this kind of
CLG should
competition
be able
work and just
to,
be very patient.
in
LeBlanc will
theory,
get big, given enough time.
take advantage of the map more.
That's right.
There's a Hex Drinker
The
pick
more
now
turrets that fall,
on
the easier
Kindred, so they have to
flanks
factor
can
that in
be.
when they try and annihilate her, especially in interaction with the ultimate. Kind of makes things tricky. If you try to burst
Yeah,
her
I saw the
CC,
cast
you
in
can
Hover.
just get her-
If they did cast, you know it would have been
She,
done.
you can cast the ultimate and then Hex Drinker shield
They
comes
needed
in.
something that at least spiked a little bit
Entire
more
scope
towards
of
the
different
mid game that would
Not gonna work.
make CLG think twice.
Looks like they are going for Rise here. Yep, Temper Fate use another flash. See the
didn't
magical
catch.
journey.
Yeah, and this is a great way to slowly control this game. They get that flash out 15
That
seconds.
seems a
before the
little.
dragon
That seems
spawn.
so greedy though.
Heading back down now. They've got a huge ring of pink wards, so it looks like Janair just
It seems very
be
greedy to me.
giving this one up too. Unless they really want to try their luck, but this would be a pretty terrible decision right now because you have to see that target in order to reliably hit that Ash arrow, so you're not probably going to get much right here. They do have one ward in.
If anything, it would make more sense to me to just take Victor in this case if that's what you wanted.
Wow, they catch Huhi. Wow, knock him up, and Huhi's gonna go down. Dragon taken by CLG, but can Janair get any more kills? Oh, Che flashes, gets the
If you
headshot,
take
but
Victor,
CLG
you still have
still
backline threat
manages
because
to
your laser will
disengage.
reach them because they're
And
short
they used
range.
a
You
lot
have the
of
zone
summoners
control,
used, and only came
and you
away
can
with
clear
one.
waves
They
much
went
better
for
than
one kill
LeBlanc.
from it. They may lose wing. Trapped against the wall. Well, he'll make it out with the safeguard.
Well, there is a
And you
big
also
movement
scale
right
harder
now.
than LeBlanc,
They
too.
did initiate a slow push,
Granted,
and
you're
that will be
less
all
mobile,
lost. The question is, can they
so it
actually
is
get
true that you could
some
get hit
sort
by
of turret from
Bartle,
this? They're gonna keep
which
trying
is
to make
something
hits, and
scary.
Afro's gonna go down.
Nice pick by Kuzan, getting in there and getting the damage done. And CLG needs to worry about that. This LeBlanc is starting to do a lot of
But
damage.
my main focus was going to be saying, like, you know, I wanted to see LeBlanc roam early to try to stall out these early aggressive plays by CLG.
But there's no one really to take down the mid turret right now. And Wing, he's got the
But CLG
ward
also,
down.
of course,
He have
just-
enough damage, but Callista's moving up.
We like
Looks
what
like he does. Yeah, he'll get it.
Big fan of the actions here from the Green Wings. Barely get the tower. It's low enough for somebody to later on walk up and just...
CLG really should just be pressing their lead better, and then Hui should not have gotten caught. Oh my god. Alright.
On an area, 4v5 for no reason. And they're making these sloppy plays just like that fish right there. They're going...
That's true, it would be hard for Victor to position well.
There's no purpose fighting over that area.
But his whole point, the whole point of their team would be this, to have setup first. And they have some initiation already to dive onto CLG if they want to.
My obsession for Krugs lost me my passion for the game.
Did you lose your passion?
Yep. Just one more Krug. Just one more. Just give me one more.
Do you have to go into Krug rehab?
They're like, this is a grub. Here, only grubs for a week.
Ooh, I had to stretch my neck.
My method on.
You know, I wondered.
I understand what LeBlanc's is here for, but I'm just saying that
a wave there for quite a while.
there are other ways to get around this.
You actually got it quite low. There's a lot of damage that's been going onto that top lane, and the slow pushing has been better this time from Janair. CLG definitely had an advantage in that in the last game, but that top lane tier 2 is nearly dead. It's sitting at about 350 HP right now.
That slow push for Janair really spent a lot of time while everything was happening by Dragon, and it paid off.
If they played LeBlanc differently, I would like it.
Their lanes for now.
But besides this point, anyways,
Wait for the next Dragon, huh?
CLG,
Realistically,
what should they be doing in this case right now?
Game, how Sowan is actually
The lead is, they don't really have a lead. It's kind of like just dead even. But they do burn Baron quickly, so working around Baron is definitely an option.
And Sowan was being cautious about not pushing past his ward line with that ribbon over and over and over again. CX Smithy taking a little bit of damage there and trying to clear out some control over the Baron.
Okay, so they're pressuring Baron. They do need to be very careful that Hui does not get Ash Herald again. Rise has his 2 spikes. Fizz is not doing shit in that lane, or at least he really shouldn't be doing shit in that lane now.
I think CLG is comfortable with playing the waiting game because they have an incredibly fast Baron with Kindred, with Fizz, and Kalista.
2 item power spike for Ash. Still doesn't have decap. Quick rotations to Rise though. He has no flash. Surprised they didn't try to go for that.
He's just been so cautious. Like, he's just not getting caught out whatsoever. He's stifling a lot of the moves they want to make, and now he's got a full Seraph's Embrace. He's got a full Rod of Ages.
Actually, really surprised they didn't go for that, knowing that he had no flash.
So exceptionally dangerous. Looks like CLG may have found an angle, though, to finally finish off this mid-tier 2.
Yeah, looks like they will get it. Yep, there it is.
Okay, rotate bot. You know you're ahead, so now they'll be able to take bot T2. Hopefully.
Step ahead again as Darshan gets here. They can kill these. They have 2 Sheens. They can take down towers very fast.
The BT have 2 Sheens.
Comes Ash Arrow, it hits.
Really
Oh, good.
Wow,
that's a really early.
Anyway, low again. There's a Kindred ult pop. So on very low, taken out.
That was terrible.
Double kill already for Kuzan before he went down. That tempered fate may have
Wow.
time.
Jesus.
Looks like Janair is gonna have a tough time pursuing. Winged barely lives.
That was good cosmic binding.
That could have been way worse. Hui just absolutely threw that fight though by ulting so early.
Escaping with flashing red health bars.
Yeah, I know. That Kindred ult was awful.
Into that fight until the very end, but he did land that arrow. Stick safe.
I mean, Afro just saved the shit out of that fight. Let's see what his HP value. Okay, look. Afromu, not even close to being dead.
Right there, so he used the QSS for nothing.
And then Kuzan gets to save his burst
Well, he was fast at it anyway.
and get double W's. Oh my, 2 W's on. Ugh.
Certainly did quite a bit of damage. Pilot just barely far enough, and that tempered fate, man. I think that really saved CLG from getting ace there.
Yep. That's what I like so much about Cosmic Binding, because the stun only triggers once both targets have been hit. So very often you will hit...
Oh man, they're still free scaling. CLG still has to play around the map better, with a possible flank by Darshan.
Just stretching out. It's quite a peculiar visual.
It's cosmic, so theoretically it should be very long.
Well, Dragon up in 30 seconds and many pings.
I think the really nice thing about the Kindred ult with Kindred and Kalista is that Kalista can build all of her Rend stacks, wait till it activates, and then pop all the Rend. I wasn't really thinking about that, but I think that'd be a very neat interaction that they could do.
it's going to be incredibly difficult for CLG to fight this. And Smithy getting caught out a little bit.
He is a little bit. We'll see if he can get away. Arrow misses. Close call there.
Bot wave is pushing hard.
Miscommunication. They
CLG
weren't
has
quite
done
sure
nothing
whether
about
they
it, but
should
they
follow
have
up.
top
Most of
wave
the
pushing a
control
bit.
war hiding behind Smithy. It's also very dangerous to just use too many abilities on a tank.
Yeah.
They turn around really quickly, especially with Kindred in the game.
Yeah, so getting the wards down on Baron and Kuzan. Whoa!
Man, that was bold. Nearly gets taken out. Tempered Fate catches the clone. Kuzan makes it up. Soan not so lucky. The
Ooh.
nice explosive
Do they have this? Yeah, they have that.
One more, and that's going to be another kill for Huhi as Jin Air has to back away.
The general idea behind the BF, I assume, is because look at their armor values, there's none.
At the very start of the fight, so they had a time
On
to set
Rise,
up
on
CLG
LeBlanc, obviously
definitely
don't have
needed
any
this
armor. They
next
didn't go
dragon.
Zonias or
That's gonna
anything.
be number 3
The only
for
one is
them,
on Lee
starting
Sin,
to really
and you already
pull
have
ahead in that dragon race.
some percent
Yeah,
damage.
doing a fantastic job predicting whenever
So it just
Kuzan
basically
jumps
gives
in
him
on
more
the
damage
wall, making
overall.
roll, and then
Plus
that
it's
beautiful
Triforce, so
tempo
that means that he's
fade
having
actually
higher
walks
damage
into the
to
second part of
proc it.
the Cosmic Battle. Let's watch that again. How Kuzan gets so low.
Yeah, nice
It's
dodge
not
away there
exhaust
from
immediately
Stixay.
too. And then you look at that ultimate, and then the follow-up. Che's gonna walk back into it. Oh, it's so well played by Aframu.
Yeah, and then immediately too, isolating Soan with that cast while simultaneously ejecting the Alistar from the fight. Very nicely done by
I still
Xmithie.
don't think he really needs
Really has
Brutalizer
been
though.
on point.
Yeah, his Gragas is looking so good this tournament.
Because with BT, that would give him the shield to actually survive the burst better.
Need all those.
Even if he has Kindred ult.
He's not going to clear any of them, in fact, but he
Oh,
did
wow.
find the field of warding right there. Has to be careful. Going to take a significant amount of damage. I mean, this is a 4-kill LeBlanc that we're talking about.
Yeah, and Aframu went Frozen Heart first. He likes his CDR. He gets an Ashe and a double.
Okay, they have a Solari, so I guess that's fine if he's going Frozen Heart. Though it's a little weird.
Interesting, one could say. I could argue for it being suboptimal.
It was a good pick by CLG, now Xmithie's caught out, he's screwed.
Right here. He is completely surrounded.
Gonna turn on to Che, but Jin Air probably gonna be able to take him down. The rest of CLG frantically trying to catch up. They use the arrow on him anyway. Not a lot left when the rest of CLG gets here.
Oh wow,
The team
Huey
though,
got caught.
that was a pretty dangerous move.
Why did
They
Huey
didn't
go
want
in?
CLG to try, and they pay for it. It's a 3v5
He's gotta keep
with
splitting.
Darshan.
And this actually may
What
be,
else would Darshan
this
be
might be
doing?
enough
He's off on the other
to
side of
prevent
the map,
Baron.
killing turrets. Jin Air, they're going right for that Baron though. They may give up an inhibitor if they focus on it though.
I think they should just
think
go
they
for the
can do it.
Baron right now. Just
Oh yeah, of
go
course they
ahead
should
and
go for the
you have
Baron,
Rise. He's
but
in enough of a power spike right now that you could totally just do this very
how much are
quickly.
they gonna lose from
Now,
this?
What will they trade for it will be the question. Che taking a lot of damage and getting stalled out, forced to use that flash.
Oh, Baron taken out by Jin Air. Recalls immediately.
He won't get it.
Think, okay, Darshan a little bit nervous about
Yeah,
the-
Huey's screwing up way too much. If Huey lived there,
Send him
I
on
mean,
his
it's
own
such a good
back.
position.
6A coming over the wall, but gonna get hit actually
Okay.
with that Blade of the Ruined King. Knocked back
Goodbye.
and rended to death.
it's a little sad to see Huey kind of throwing this game.
Can he find a pick here? Onto Aframu. Q landed. Wing gonna chase that Soan. TP's in from behind. Stixay in a lot of trouble here. Trying to
Wow,
cut
he
away. They're gonna settle
actually,
for a
Stixay
kill onto
played that out
TP
really well.
canceled. Darshan not wanting to try that. He's like, what? I don't interact with other players. I only interact with turrets. Oh, Stixay kicked away. Still alive. CLG
Winged.
onto Wing for the shutdown.
Darshan enabled PvP.
Never mind.
Oh, he hit Pilot too? Holy shit! Oh my god. Okay, now we're at Clown Fiesta.
And wow, what a mistake by Jin Air trying to go in on that. They overextended and allowed themselves just to be picked off one by one. That Baron not really going
Now
to
we're in
do
Clown
anything
Fiesta
right
land.
now. Death timers are still low, so it doesn't look like the CLG will be able to easily take an inhibitor off of that, but very poorly played Baron by Jin Air.
Yeah, and some fantastic kiting overall from Stixay earlier.
Jesus, I can't believe he's tunneled so hard on that.
Whatever you want, CLG turn here, but look at Darshan, really good fish here on Pilot, and they clean up. Kindred coming down from the bottom of your screen, kind of dealing with the LeBlanc and the Rice there.
Yeah, just a huge amount of damage, and Huhi, who started out this little
Well, both
sequence of
rises in
events
these
with
games
some
have been pretty shit. Like,
interesting dives
Haunter's
into
rise
the
hasn't been
enemies
that
he actually
good. It
does
seems
a
like
really good
Sowan's
run at
rise
the
hasn't
end
been
to
that
make
good.
up for his previous mistakes. So basically canceling out the effect of the Baron that they lost, and that's absolutely huge because they opened an inhibitor up as a result of trading for that Baron, and then they nullified the Baron immediately afterwards. So that advantage really CLG.
Item-wise, Last Whisper.
Ahead in dragons, ahead in turrets, ahead in kills, ahead in gold. Well, ahead in every category. But can they close the game out? It's looking
Okay,
good.
Last Whisper, BT, so now he's going to be able to survive longer.
CLG over Jin Air. You talk about the strength of this
Zonia's.
roster, I think
Ooh,
nobody
that's
really
big.
argue
So
with that
Zonia's onto
after a
Fizz.
series like this.
We're looking at a scary late game.
We still have
though.
2
Once these
items.
silver stashes get picked
Wait,
up
he
on
went
the carries,
QSS on
later
Rise?
we can drop the fish on the floor, walk away if your name's Pilot.
I guess
Later
for
on
the
as well, we're looking at
the
Zeke's
Fizz,
okay,
but
and
he
Amplified
has the
and
shield.
Even more, Sowan is never going to stop scaling. So late game still incredibly tricky from CLG, but they do have the tools to make very creative.
Even so, like,
Tempered Fate,
it
Kingdom
shouldn't be
Ultimate,
that
all these
difficult
tools
to
that you
do
don't
Rise
usually
combos.
see in a lot of these games. So if CLG has
Heavy armor
mechanics down there, they can
onto
shape the
Wings,
teamfight
so that
to
means
their
he's going to take a
advantage.
fuck ton from Darshan.
Smithing
3 item power
through a
spike for
void into the
Kuzan, so he's
mid
actually pretty
lane. Jin Air
massive. He'll
has a
do a
pretty
lot.
good idea of where
3 item
everyone's
power
at,
spike
dragging up to
for
about 40
Pilot,
45
but he
seconds.
got no
It's
Last
something Jin Air
Whisper,
needs to
so
be
he's
aware
not
of
going to be
before
doing
playing
much to
CLG.
Darshan or
It's not something that Jin Air wants hanging
Bard,
over their heads for
Afro.
the rest of the game. Darshan going all the way down to bot lane though, and with no TP, Jin Air's got a little bit of time to move in on this dragon.
Yeah, they have some time to get vision control. He'll be done clearing that wave by the time that the actual dragon spawns, but they're going to lose quite a few wards as a result of this. There's another big minion wave that Jin Air had prepped.
Like, any
We'll keep
professional
some
that plays
chunk damage
Rise
down on
should be able to
Kuzan,
do
though.
Rise
It's quite
combos.
helpful.
Yeah, it's really important that they
Or
clear
any
wards,
challenger player
on Jin Air's side,
for
so
one.
Kuzan
As long
can
as you've
have
played it
advantage.
like a
If
few
they see
times,
Kuzan
or
with
even
second
just
or
went to
third
like
distortion,
custom to practice it,
arrow,
you should be fine.
Pilot, field goal.
So missing Ash Arrow means that they have really bad engage with Shay in terms of like stacking CC on Hui.
Darshan now coming up from the flank, and they're not really able to move forward. There's a cosmic binding, and that's going to
They just burned his ult.
That Shay caught.
They might Bard ult this.
See Tempered
Stay
Fate here.
alive.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they Tempered Fate
I
that.
think they're just going to turn for that dragon. That's exactly what they're doing.
They have 3 dragons, yeah, they could play to 5 dragons.
To the ride.
CLG is playing this so well,
As well.
and Jin Air's playing this so poorly.
Going down right now. They've used the hawk shot.
Like, this should be Jin Air's time to start, like,
They're gonna try and
fucking them.
stop him. Darshan going to be coming in from behind, but Jin Air sticking together.
Oh, wow. Darshan actually screwed up his E too.
Failed to jump, so he's kind of stuck on the other side there. It's a 4v5 for the moment. Soan could turn around with this. Xmithy very, very low. 6-8 taken down to kill for Kuzan. Xmithy has to
Wow.
leave, but there's the ult from Viz finally
Just
finds
cleaning the shit out of
and
this.
That will be another win for CLG in the team fight. Soan turns around. They found Hui. Whoa,
Hui?
never mind.
Hello?
Now it's 2 for 3. They're coming out a little bit ahead.
Basically, I like this comp that CLG made though, like, cause it's very early mid-game oriented. If you get the dragon stacks, then you can go for 5 dragon victory. You have a lot of invulnerability to avoid their high burst, and then even the Bard ult can help set up, like you said, set up against mobiles. Gragas really brings it all together though, because it displaces and splits the enemy team so you can focus fire.
CLG keeping their cool. That fight started off with
And of course, it's also like Smithy's
planted
best
into the
champion,
wall.
so
CLG,
you have a champion
all
who's
his members expected
very well
him to be
defined
there,
in this.
including Darshan himself, so luckily for them, they did have a lead and they just had a fantastic open here.
Check it out.
So
That's such a heartbreaker too, because this could have been a game-winning team fight for CLG.
Xmithy played that so well. Triple cast and body side for Peel. Sticks and catting on the side, but yeah, kind of overcommits a bit. CLG could have disengaged, but nobody really noticed Darshan failing his jump there.
We noticed.
Sure, but they didn't even snowball that hard, to be honest.
This is now a 9-kill Fizz in this game. He has 9 of CLG's 15 kills. He has an immense.
Like, it was
amount of
4-3,
gold right
and it
now.
was
He's
mostly
about
even gold.
5,000
It was
gold
their map play that kept him in it.
currently on Soan, both the farm and the kills. So they've got to take care of him quickly. And they may be able to.
Oh,
do
you're
that
talking about
against CLG, but this
if
kind of
Kindred does not snowball,
Now we get to Void Staff. Just
she's not
right
useful
on top of
after
everything
20
else.
minutes. Yes, you are correct, I
He
like
doesn't
that.
believe in components. He only
Guess not.
buys like full items.
Well, I mean, he just got a triple kill, so.
Well, they were using her as a flex, as we both know,
Soan did
trying to
finish
bait
his,
anything out of it.
She's got a little bit more survivability. QSS
I do.
comes for
If this
Pilot
was a better
as
jungler,
well, so
if
Jin Air
Winged was a better
slowly
jungler, I think that
building
lane
a
would have
team that
sucked
can
hard
deal
for
with the Tempered
Kindred.
Fate, that can deal with the cosmic binding as well.
But I don't know if Kuzan can actually deal enough damage so far into these
But
fights.
like
And
all the
he's
other
had
pieces,
some
I
plays,
like. Like I
made some good solo plays.
like all the
This
other
fight
pieces,
is
and the
really
Kindred
set up
does
for him.
help
He
them
has
a
had
bit
nasty
with dealing
habit
with the
of
late game
getting poked
damage.
out before he can actually contribute.
Like, she
And
can be
there's
as
this two
useless
fights
as you
going
want
on.
her to
There's
be
two
late game,
CLG
but the
here.
ultimate
They
actually
have
makes
that
up
radar,
for
so
it.
see a Baron being attempted.
Yeah, they're going for it.
Hawk shot
Baron is
used.
about half health. Jinair knows what's up. Are they going to go in and try to fight this? Baron very low.
Secured.
CLG takes it. Shay comes in. A little bit low. Pops that ult immediately. Wing trying to force Darshan on the fight while the rest of Jinair engage.
He uses his ults very
Already
liberally.
Shay's ultimate is gone. Pilot cleanses
Alright.
runs away. Darshan.
Gee,
Oh,
that damage is so ridiculous for Flake Game Fizz.
There's another kill for Fizz. That's 10 so far in this game.
Yeah,
And
that
CLG
ult there
is
was
gonna turn
like
their
he's just
attention
using it
back
just
to
for the
their
hell of
team
it at
at
this
Baron
point.
Buff.
He had like maybe
Absolute
one good one,
fantastic
but
call there from CLG because there's nothing that can backfire on that.
I do
person.
hope
That
this game is
trigger
over,
moves
though.
Baron incredibly quickly. If you do get engaged on, you can put your ulti in the
'Cause
entire pit and that's your
I
fail-safe. In
don't
terms of
want to
side
watch
versus
Jin
side, you
Air
have Kalista who can
get
red
shit
next
on.
to Baron, so fantastic call by CLG, and they may well take the game.
His
back.
zero ults weren't good either,
They may
as
be
we both
going
know.
for the win right here, and a win would send them to the finals.
I wouldn't view him as a
Pushing by himself in the top lane.
I wouldn't view him as a step above anyone else, or a step above Pole Belter right now. But it seems like their composition somehow like Hui will play different champions basically.
Very calculated. Again, just not really getting caught out and consistently taking objectives.
CLG's vision control overall.
I also like
is
Stixxay
what's
a lot.
happening here. Stixxay immediately cleansing out, or with the QSS so he can rend next
I think
to the
Stixxay's
Baron.
played
Good zoning
great
ultimate.
this
So has no business walking
this
forward.
series.
Sets up for a beautiful cosmic batting, double stun here.
And
Comes
Pole
to the
Belter's
right,
champ
identifies
pool
the
wasn't the
wheel.
best.
Yeah, nobody was even there for Jin Air. They sort of filed in one by one, and all of their important abilities.
But I wonder if
by the
actually
time
Pole
the
Belter
fight
would have been
started,
better
Alistair combo had already been blown.
with no
Bajay
double lift.
Going into the pit. Pilot had already used that enchanted crystal arrow and had been cleansed off.
Or if it's
So
just
they
Hui
really
just being a
couldn't
little
continue that
nervous
fight. It
because
would
he's
be much
facing
better
a
for them
Korean
just to
team
back off and try and defend.
and he doesn't have much
Jin
land
Air
experience.
trying to position themselves to maybe take this dragon.
Sure,
At
but
least
you know
get
this is
that
a
one
rookie,
win
right?
from CLG. If CLG
Or
gets
this
that
is a
fifth
guy
dragon,
straight from
it's
Challenger. So I
over and
think
over.
that Stixxay, what the
Absolutely.
performance
I
he's
think
doing
it
against
is
an actual
over.
LCK team is
Essentially,
not
but
too
it'd
bad.
be over if they get the fifth dragon.
Yeah, he's definitely a better Azir.
CLG
That
did such
you are
good
right
work
about
with his
that.
Baron buff too, and they've shown just a lot of different styles of compositions, a lot of different styles of play. Again, they're playing
Let's
around
see.
Darshan's strength on
I
that
mean, it's
split
super
push,
simple on how
but
CLG
he's
closes
shown
this out. They
that
just
many
have to
different champions that he can be
group
successful
up,
with in this
make sure the
tournament.
waves are
Riven,
pushing on
Fizz,
top and
Jax.
mid,
He's been able to do the damage and,
and
play
then
the
just
way
win.
he wants to
Like,
in
it's
every single game.
Yeah, you can
it's
see that
so
even with CLG,
so
they
easy.
still
And
members, they still have that
Jin Air's
game
wave
there,
clear, it's
especially
basically
the
just
synergy
Rise on
between
the side.
Alphamu and Xmiffy in terms of vision.
He just
Very
has to
much
pop
the
his ult,
reason
wave clear
Kujan
one
plays
side, and then
poked out and caught out
rotate
so much
down.
when he engages is because he's not flanking, and he can't flank because he's constantly in vision. CLG always has knowledge where he's coming from, and then it's
Yeah,
incredibly
sure,
easy
it
to
is
come
hard
out
with the
along, so
delay,
CLG very wary of their surroundings overall.
but
Yeah, bringing those
I mean,
dragon means it's a huge
oh well.
wave coming into the base
That's
of
just
the
how it
Jin Air
is.
Green Wings. It's kind of the last stand. Dragon up in 20 seconds. CLG not too concerned with that. If they can just push ahead here, even if they have to fall back, they can just fall right back to that dragon. And looks like that's what they're going to do for now, taking the magical journey. And how
Yeah,
fast can
it
they kill
definitely
this
does.
dragon?
They strand towers quickly. They have a lot of damage
Yeah,
up
they should
front.
just really wait for it right here. I mean, they have the Callista, so it's pretty easy secure. There's not really a chance
Just
here.
start. Oh, they're just baiting it out.
They can
Oh,
also
they're
take
waiting for the waves. That's what they're
absolutely
doing.
Zero chances.
I mean, no one hits, right?
This is game over.
Dragon. Fifth dragon stack for CLG.
Excellent.
2-0 the Jin Air Green Wings. Move on to the final.
Oh yeah, I know. They could have used
What
Tristana.
we've got in a tournament, you know, against 5 dragons, 0 inhibs,
Because the problem is they
no
need the
phase,
Ash Arrow to
no
hit
gap, you know.
Kindred,
It's
like
not
Hui,
oh,
every
it's not
time.
like,
They did it
I never watched
twice.
you suffer.
But
It's gonna be a nice sat play in
You
CLG
can't
is thinking
depend
about.
on getting an
Well,
Ash Arrow on
Hey,
one guy
their first
every
matchup
single
against
time. Like the
Korean
the
team
one
ever. They
specific
wanna
champion
savor
every
this
single time.
victory,
Well, this
make it
is
as complete as it can be.
I mean, this is such a story for CLG too. After everything that happened in the offseason, all the criticism they received, and
Yeah.
now they're
There's
coming
really
back.
nothing to analyze at
They're
this
looking
point.
like
I
they're
mean,
gonna be
it's
moving
pretty
on
much
to the
just
finals.
close out
They
this
went to
game
Korea
simply.
twice, couldn't do it.
CLG.
They may do it today.
They needed Korea to come to them.
You have
That's
3
what
hit inhibs down.
they needed. One Nexus turret down. They're going to dive in there. Whoa! Two members of Jin Air very low health already. CLG wants to win this final fight. It is chaos. Ash Arrow comes in.
Wow, what a sloppy end fight, though.
Doing so much damage on that Fizz, and this is it. There goes the Nexus. CLG.
Yes, we're done. We're done. I'm so excited.
What great
I'm pretty
pace of
tired
play
though.
we
I
saw
don't know if I would
from
do
CLG in that
the
game.
finals
They can
as a
renew
review.
their
I'd probably just
reputation.
watch it
They played
for
out very well.
for
And
fun.
Darshan, Zion Spartan just had
I
a
don't know. I
wonderful
don't know what he's
tournament so
doing,
far.
Nick.
And the
But
same
basically,
can be said
if we
about
can
Solar's
recap this
development
series,
of
basically it
finals.
was
I'm really
Hui
excited to
making
see
some
these two guys
very
go
strange
together.
decisions.
This roster,
CLG having actually good map play at times in game 1, better map play game 2, Darshan just snowballing. Jin lost all their, I guess, all their aggressiveness from game 1. Like, game 2 they picked a more scaling comp that was less aggressive, and then they didn't make any plays when they hit their power spikes, which is awful. Like, making 0 plays when you have your power spikes means you're just gonna lose. Like, the enemy team just gets all the dragons and everything. Oh well. Double cast. What happens if Darshan loses lane? If he loses lane, we know Huey doesn't really win lane. I have no idea what the hell Stixay does. It usually just goes even. Probably not much, because they really do depend on Darshan having the pressure so they can do those map rotations. And they're playing who? Origin, who has very good map rotations. I think will be very difficult for CLG. Plus he's facing Niels. And PoE is passive, so I mean there's nothing that's going to be done mid.
I still think Origin probably has a pretty big edge right here. They were my pick to kind of take this tournament in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know.
The roster changes that have been made by many of these teams, and Origin being the one that was both doing.
I mean,
well
in the sense that we're
made
thinking, yeah, he probably does lose 1v1.
Really affect their synergy all too much.
But for CLG,
Or sorry, not lose 1v1. CLG loses if he loses the 1v1.
Criticism came